These are your right side notes for lesson 322, creating a flowchart. The essential question is, how can I organize my information? You should be taking a second to copy down these two triangles, these two diagrams. Make sure you're marking down all of the side lengths that were given and all of the angles that were given. What we're going to show here, the question that we are being asked is, are these triangles similar? So I want to show that these two triangles are similar. Before I even think about doing my flowchart, I want to look at my diagrams and see what information I have. What have I been given? What has a value or markings, but not variables. Variables aren't counting as having been given to us in the diagram. So I'm going to take a look at the angles first. I see angle C is marked as 56.5 degrees, and angle P is also marked as 56.5 degrees. So I am going to mark those two angles as being congruent in my diagram. I like to use colors to kind of color code stuff, so it's a little bit more visual for those visual learners amongst you. So I'm going to switch to blue now, and I'm going to mark angle A, which is 101.2 degrees. And in my other triangle, I also have an angle that is 101.2 degrees. So those two angles are going to be congruent to each other. Okay, now I'm going to highlight the sides because I have some side lengths marked here. The first side length I have marked in triangle CAT is this 8. And it is the side length that connects the red angle to my blue angle. It connects angle C to angle A. All right, if I look at my other diagram, I do have a value that connects the red angle to the blue angle. It connects P to G, and that is 12. All right, so I have one pair of corresponding sides here. Now back to my triangle CAT. I also have this measure of 4, and that is for side length AT. And AT connects my blue angle A to my unmarked angle T. Well, if I look over here in my other diagram, connecting the blue angle and the unmarked angle, I don't have a value for that. So I don't have the corresponding side for AT marked with a value. What I do have is the third side, which is 15, but that's not the one that I want to be able to do side angle side. I would need this one having a value to do side angle side, and it doesn't. So I know that I'm not going to use side angle side, but that's okay because I do have two pairs of congruent angles. So what I just did by marking these two diagrams and highlighting stuff and seeing what I have is I kind of talked my way through how I'm going to get to the two triangles being similar before I even started thinking about my flowchart. So my conditions for similarity are either angle-angle similarity or side-angle-side similarity. And since I don't have two pairs of corresponding sides, because 4 and 15 don't correspond with each other, then I'm going to use angle-angle similarity because I do have two pairs of congruent angles. Okay, so now I'm going to write my flowchart. Since I'm using angle-angle similarity, I'm going to need to have two fact bubbles, one for each pair of angles. So I am going to write this out. Looking at the red marked angles, I'm going to say angle C is congruent to angle P. And that is how I would write that fact out. You don't need to write down what the angle measures are or anything like that. You're just going to write that angle C is congruent to angle P. My other fact bubble is my two blue angles. Because remember, I want to use angle-angle similarity, so I need a fact bubble for each pair of angles. So again, you don't have to write out what the angle measures are. We can just write out that angle A is congruent to angle G. And right there, that kind of satisfies my angle-angle condition for similarity. So now I can write my conclusion. Those two facts let me lead me to my conclusion. And my conclusion is that these two triangles are similar. So again, I get to pick the order that I write the first triangle. So I'm going to write triangle CAT is similar to triangle. Now, since I wrote it out as CAT, I need to write out my other triangle so that the corresponding angles, the congruent angles, line up with each other. So the angle that corresponds with C, which was written first, is P. So I'm going to write triangle P. The angle that corresponds with A, that's my blue angle, and that is G. So I'm going to write PG. And then the angle that corresponds with T is going to be my unmarked angle, I. Now I need to show how my logic flows from my facts to my conclusion. So I needed both of these facts to be able to say my conclusion. So I need arrows from both of those fact bubbles down to my conclusion bubble. And then I need a reason why I can say that conclusion is true. So the reason is, which similarity condition did I satisfy? Well, I satisfied angle similarity. So that's what's going to go right here on my reason box off of that bubble. And that is how you would write a flow chart kind of from scratch, showing that two triangles are similar using angle similarity.